Michael Phelps. There's a story in this book that I'm reading called The Power of Habit, okay? And what it is it talks about how Michael Phelps is an Olympic swimmer, and he's able to be an Olympic swimmer because of how he practices, okay? Whenever he practices, it's the same routine that he's been doing since he was 8 years old, and he does the same exact routine when he goes into an Olympic meet, okay? So like it's timed down to the minute, where like he has like a 5-minute stretching warm-up thing for one body part, a 5-minute stretch for this thing. He's got a specific song and a playlist that he uses for that, right, to get ready. Now, there was a really interesting thing because they talk about how one of his world records that he sets, Michael Phelps actually ends up having water get into his goggles. And to think about it, in the middle of an Olympic event, as you're swimming, you don't want to go and then continue. So you're going to lose no matter what, right? And most of us in that situation would panic and be like, oh, well, we lose. Like, oh, stop, screw it, whatever. But he still ended up setting a world record. He actually ended up swimming blind, okay? Because it was all just muscle memory, practice. He actually started to count how many strokes that he was taking and actually guessed how many he needed to take and took exactly, I think, 20 or 21 strokes, he said, and ended up touching the wall and got a world record with water in his goggles, okay? So why am you guys aren't doing an Olympic swim here today. It's about SAT, ACT testing, right? But why is it, and what is it about Michael Phelps' story here that we can use whenever we are in a test situation? Well, if Michael Phelps has a routine for his swimming for Olympics, every single Olympic meet or every single race he had was almost like a test for you, right? Then we need to make sure that you imitate or have a routine for your tests as well. And not just any tests, like you have a routine for your math tests, you have a routine for your science tests, you have a routine for your history tests, because they require different strategies, right? And I know you might have certain classes where you're better at than the others, so it might be, less studying for math than you do for English, or maybe the other way around, depending on what you feel better with, right? But what I want to get you used to, especially in, like SAT, ACT, is that it's just like Michael Phelps practicing. When he was 8 years old, do you think he was able to swim with his goggles filled with water? No. So imagine when you first take these tests, it's like you're 8 years old, not knowing what needs to happen. But by the time you train yourself to be that Olympic athlete, just like Michael Phelps is, you'll be, rehearsed. It'll be rehearsed and you'll know exactly what to do. Oh, I see a question. I see what lines to look at. I know where, I've missed this type of question before because I looked at the wrong spot. Do you see that? And what that also comes down to is making sure that your reading that you have is efficient for you to go back to. So even on the side right now, if you want, give yourself a little bit of notation. We've got boxes, squares, and stars. That's how I start. And then underline. There's 4 notations for you. You should probably do this too. Boxes, squares, or boxes, circles, stars, and then underline, okay? You can vary them with color as well, red, orange, right? I like to use colors of the rainbow for importance. Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow are your top 3, right? Red is number 1, so always know where to look first. If you want to avoid yellow, you can, because sometimes it doesn't show up too great on stuff. But what should a box be? What should a star be? What should a circle be? You need to make your own decisions, but what are things that we need to look out for? Main characters. I usually say circle or star, but if you're a box person, that works, or an underline person, right? Main character. Another one is probably your main topics, right? You can have conflicts, etc., right? And then one thing that also helps as well sometimes is in a lot of these tests, they sometimes like to come back to numbers and things like that. You could put the number sign. To you guys, it's the hashtag sign, but that's the number, the pound sign helps as well. Okay? So your notation needs to be your notation. It needs to make sense to you. You don't want to jumble it up, all right? But be able to go back into your work and say, this is what I'm looking for, or if this question needs you to go back looking for the answer, you don't have to reread it again, right? The hardest part about a timed test is wasting your time because you weren't efficient with it the first time. And that's where the training comes in, right? Your first few times, it might be the water in your goggles, and you might mess up a few times. So let's do it during practice, so that during the actual test, the real Olympic meet, right, the real ACT, SAT, you're ready for what might come up. Okay, that makes sense? Cool. Go back to your work. Almost 3 hours?
Yeah.
Now you're not adding in the writing section. You get
Yeah,
45 minutes for that writing section, right? So add on that, that's 3 and 3/4, okay? So keep in mind, this is a pretty long test. SAT, ACT, they're both close to 4 hours total, because if you count in a little break in the middle, that's what it is. Now, if you're a student who gets tired at school, because whether you're sleep deprived or you just don't get enough food in the morning kind of thing, or it's just making sure that you have the energy, that might be one thing. But another one is making sure that you understand as you go through this test, you're getting tired as you go. And so your abilities and your decision-making abilities go further and further down and lose efficiency as you continue. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. And if you need to, readjust yourself, sit up straight, take a deep breath, sigh if you need to in that sense, and then just make sure that you move on and give it your best. That's all it is. And during the day of the test, we'll make sure that you have the little bits of extra nutrition that might help. So it means like, if your breakfast meal is a whole unit of 1, let's multiply it by 1.1, 1.2 to give yourself the extra 10 to 20% of fuel for your test. Same with like if you have a glass of milk or if you have your morning juice, etc. Have that. Make sure we also have something in the middle of your test to give yourself a little boost as well. All these things are going to make a difference. Okay? Cool.